There we go. Hold on.
I see a button that says live. Hold on.
Okay, we got it.
All right. I've been seeing this thing that says live. It's like 17 seconds. Everybody's like, what the hell are these guys doing? Oh shit. All right. Okay, we're just gonna kick it off. We're live. It's already happening. So this is stream number 1 of a show that we're gonna call Breakthroughs. Get the breakthrough before something breaks you. The first question is simply, why? Why are you doing this? Well, Jake here, my brother Jake. We are brothers. Jake, I'm Chad. And we're doing this because both of us have had things happen in our lives that broke us. Jake had how many strokes? 3 strokes at the age of 31?
30. Yep.
At the age of 30, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer 3.5 years ago. It's amazing I'm still here. Both of us, actually, slightly a miracle that we're still here. And what we realized is that maybe, just maybe, all of this was preventable. And I know that's a bold statement to make, but looking back and be able to assess everything that we've gone through in the experience is realizing, man, maybe we could have prevented both of these experiences, meaning we could have changed the way things were happening so we didn't get broken, if you will. So that's why we're doing it, really to prevent that from happening to other people. We have some insight that I think is valuable, that we think is valuable. So in these live streams, we're going to be talking about all the things that are potential, we'll call it breakage points, right? Things that frustrate us, things that generate, I don't know, the feelings, the experiences that get us to a point where it could break us. And like, really, how do we prevent that? So the plan here is to talk about some of those frustrations, those problems, those things that could get us there. We're going to bring in a lot of stuff around neuroscience because I've learned a lot about that. Jake's learned about a lot about that. And action, taking action. And ideally, we get people to hop on and join us on these things. We're not here to solve people's problems. We're just trying to find a way to look at it a little bit differently, right? And for those who know I had cancer is not the content. I hate talking about that shit. But it is a messenger, so sometimes it will be brought in. We're going to bring in studies, science as much as possible, right? But most importantly, it's the anecdotal evidence tied to that that's going to be doing it. This is completely unscripted. That's why it's live stream. Obviously, there's a framework here, so we don't just ramble on because I have a tendency to ramble, right? And so that's pretty much the basics, right? That's the background. We're going to figure this out as we go. This is a standard FAFO. And for those who don't know what FAFO mean, it's an acronym. And you can excuse my language. Actually, I don't give a shit. FAFO stands for fuck around and find out. And that's what we're doing. The only goal here is to give value and see what we're doing. And hopefully we can help people get the breakthrough before something breaks them. That's it. So today's topic, and then we'll get into it, is why most therapy doesn't work for most people. And we're going to talk about that today. All right. After all that, let's lighten it up a little bit. My hat literally says have more fun. And sometimes the seriousness really gets to me. But anyway, Jake, how you holding up after all the technological shit you had to go through on this live stream?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I'm actually like a little dizzy. So off to my left, I have 3 Instagram accounts open. And I forgot they're all showing our live video slightly delayed. And so the left corner of my eye just sees versions of us happening. And I'm like, maybe I should just disconnect the screen. I'll just turn it away from me because it's driving me nuts. But yeah, I had a lot of coffee. And then I realized all of the things that we did not know how to do until about 5 minutes before. But I don't know. We're up and we're live. So that's good. I'm feeling great.
This is why I took the intro, is because I was like, Jake, for the last literally 25 minutes, I've been sitting here kind of like writing notes out, thinking about stuff. And Jake's been over there trying to connect all this shit to make it work. So.
Here's a common theme, though, that I'm sure will come up. It's all FAFOing, right? It's all fucking around and finding out. And this is a very meta version of everything you just described.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
There's no way to know 100% how it's going to go until you actually do it. Right. Anyway, how about you? How's it going?
Oh yeah, it's good. I mean, look, we also have weird backgrounds. Like this is an Airbnb
Oh.
I live in now because we had to sell our house and everything. And this is the painting that came with the
You,
Airbnb.
you didn't buy that painting?
I did not. I did not. So we'll figure that out too. I mean, I did put lights up so it wasn't super dark, but yeah, I'm good, man. I mean, look, the sun's shining. I feel good. For the first time, probably we've been doing this, what, 15 years, Jake, building this idea of Supply Run?
Yeah, it's had about 7 different names, but yeah.
Yeah. And this is the first time where I'm like, every day we can talk about something meaningful that also ties to Supply Run. And that excites me, man. That excites me.
Yeah, I agree. And while you were doing that intro right there, which, we'll do a little bit of as we go, but obviously stream number 1's a bit different. I will never forget 13 years ago when we were doing some version of, you could call it life coaching, but we hated that. And now I look back and like, we had no experience to do any, tell people, not even tell people, just like give our experience that says, if you're doing the same thing, then this would be what we would do. And now I'm like, yeah, I mean, strokes and cancer and all this stuff, like we have a lot. I feel we have a lot to share.
We have a lot. Yeah, I think that's the right word. We have a lot of value that we can definitely give purely based on experience. And most importantly, then implementing the things that we've learned because of the experience. Right. I think it comes back to is this idea of just preventing, right? Like there's so many things for after some shit goes wrong.
You're solving the symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always like after, there's always like, dude, there's so much shit selling you out there about when something goes wrong. All you have to do is look at a pharmaceutical TV commercial. Something's already gone wrong, right? Or you go to a therapist because something already went wrong, right. Or you're going and doing this because something went wrong. So the question is where can we help prevent? And I think that's kind of that's what the whole point of this is. Get the breakthrough before something breaks you, man.
And the last takeaway before we get into the topic is like, I think we realized a lot of people don't know how to describe the stress. I think you mentioned it as stress. Like it's a generalized stress. And we're like, you can't really, everyone feels some element of it, but like it comes up in different ways in people's lives in different like micro issues, micro stress, or, categorized. And so we realized we could make this live show and pick one and just focus on it before moving on to the next thing. But they all overlap in some version.
They all, I think, yeah. I mean, so like stress, right? I mean, like you said, micro stress. Stress is just the big umbrella, but like, what is the stress? Is it, are you anxious about something? Is there a relationship stress, a job stress, money stress, like authenticity stress, like
emotional stress? It's
everything. There's so many things. So that's kind of what we're trying to do.
So we came out swinging real hard on the first one.
On the first one. Therapy sucks. Sorry, that's how I thought about it in my head when I was thinking about the topic. And I was just waiting for, someone to say, a therapist specifically to be like, therapy's good. Or somebody who does have a good therapist and like, yeah, therapy's great. And so today we're talking about why therapy doesn't work for the majority of people. And I say majority. I didn't even say most. I didn't say many. I didn't say some. I said majority because everybody I've talked to, I would say out of the 10 people that I've talked to about therapy being helpful, probably 3 or 4 were like, yeah, therapy is so good for me.
And that was it?
That was it. And I was like, why? Why only 3 to 4? Yeah. So why don't I ask you? Why don't we just start experiences with therapy? I'll get to mine. Obviously mine is, it was my topic today, so it's going to be most of me. But before that, what about you? Tell me about your therapy experience.
When you brought up this topic, I was like, oh boy, we're swinging strong right off the bat. And this is the thing. I don't disagree with the idea, but like everything in life, there's nuance. There's nuance, and there's like, it's not zero sum. It's not, does it always work or does it not always work? It depends on the therapist. It depends on your objective for therapy.
Yep.
Like there's so many variables, and that was the thing that was hitting me. And like I have 2 kind of not really stories, or really one sentence, which is I went to a therapist when I was like 23 or something. I was like having panic attacks, and I was like, I don't know what the hell is happening to me. Like, I don't understand this, but apparently I'm holding something in. So I went to a therapist, and I went once, and my expectation was, oh, I go to this guy several times to work out an issue, like what am I dealing with and what do I do about it? So this is the objective scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know at the time. My objective is I'm having this issue, but what do I do about it? I'm a problem. Like I want to fix the problem. I don't just want to talk and clarify the problem. I want to fix it. And I remember going there and he was like, well, did you do a lot as a kid, like growing up in high school? I was like, yeah, I did so much. He's like, are you doing the same amount now? I was like, no, I sit at a desk and I work a job, but my mind still operates the same. So I'm packing in all of this anxiety or whatever it is, and I'm not releasing it in any way. But then at the end of it, I was like, okay, so now what? And he was like, I think we solved it essentially. I was like, I get it, but I don't know what to do. So that was my experience. And then, my main takeaway is I know a lot of people who get a lot of value from therapy, but their objective is different than what I just described. My objective is I want to go and want to clarify, and I want to know what to do in my life to change this. And so that is where I think the objective is to clarify and talk to a neutral third party and work through that, and that's all you want, then great.
Yeah.
If you want to go farther, then it depends on the therapist, in my mind.
Good point. I mean, it comes down to what your objective is, right? And that's why finding a therapist. But so here, I'm going to give you my experience. So there is pre-cancer therapy experience and post-cancer therapy, and I've had probably six, seven. And I've had 3.
I can't believe you just said 6, 7.
Oh my God, you're right. Holy shit.
I barely even recognize that. And for some reason I was like, why did it? Okay.
Anyway.
Live stream.
So let's say I had 6. I had 6. Okay. We'll say 3 before, 3 after. And my objective is to change something in my life, right? Some people's objectives is literally, it's just therapy as an outlet to talk because they don't have a place to talk.
Right.
But I'm still saying that's a problem. Like, that's great that you have an outlet to talk, but are you going to go 6 years of just talking? Right. We are the type of people that it's like, dude, you got one shot at life on this planet. It's like, moving forward is really the only option. We all get stuck going backwards. I got stuck going. The things that I'll probably get to in these live streams about being stuck in the backwards place is a lot. But because of what we're talking about here is forward is the key. So I've had 6 therapists, and literally one therapist said to me this: the goal is for you not to come back here. Oh, yes.
That means you fixed something.
That means we did something changed.
Yeah.
1 out of 6 said that. The other 5, in some way, shape, or form, were like basically making sure that I was their payroll. And I don't mean it in a negative way. Everybody has to, they brought value in some way. But not only one said the goal is for you not to come back here. And so here, let me explain the difference between the couple that I had, the 6. I had a couple that were like, oh, just sit there and let's listen. Like, they need to listen, and then they listen. I just sit in it. I remember this one guy after I got diagnosed with cancer, this guy was like, let's just sit in it. I'm like, I don't want to fucking sit in anything. I need to fix the way I think about this in order to operate better within it. And I was like, I can't handle this. Right. The first therapist I ever had was actually when I was 22, and it was the most helpful therapist. And she was the one that said, the goal is not to come back here. And she said to me, what is wrong? And I said, oh, I'm struggling with this. I'm anxious. I feel blah, blah, lost. All the words stuck. And she says, well, you just left college, right? You're having a little bit of whatever you want to call it, a reverse culture shock, if you will. You went from having a great friend life to living back at home, working a job. You're sitting in a model home, like doing nothing with nobody. And she goes to me, she goes, just go home. I just want you to write down on a piece of paper in a paragraph or 2. What is it that you want? Just write it down. What do you want? Whatever you want. So I wrote it down. I went back for my second session. She goes, read it to me. I read it to her. She stops and she just goes, okay, go do it. And I was like, what? She's like, that's what's in your mind. Go do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. She goes, you don't need to see me anymore. I was like, okay. And I left and I just started going and doing it. There's one therapist that lives across the street from me. She's 80 something. She literally just gives opinions and says, do this, try this. Yeah. And that's what changes the mental structure, right? Yeah. And so, ever since then, yeah, go ahead.
Now I have two things, which is what you just mentioned. The only difference that you have mentioned between the 6 that you've had experience with is one says go do, and writing something down is an action to take, even if it's not out in the world and people are seeing the things you're doing. It is at least don't just go think about it some more in this part of the brain. Actually get it out of your head, write it down, clarify it. Now you bring it back and you're like, okay, now it's just make the steps to go do these things. And that lost adriftness, all of a sudden you have a path, and that is the actions you can take.
Yeah. I think the thing is she listened to me rehash my past, which is I left this college experience and I was grieving that. She let me do it, but she didn't continue to let me come in every week and be like, I feel mopey, right? Because I left this. Things are hard, right? At that time, that really wasn't hard. Stage 4 cancer is fucking hard, okay? Yeah. And so that experience I look back at and I'm just like, wow, very basic thing. She wouldn't let me ruminate. She wouldn't let me ruminate. And I think that's the thing where I get struggle with therapists, because all the others let me ruminate.
Right? Yeah, I mean, the analogy that again, it's a form of a paycheck as well. But I think about chiropractors. I've gone to chiropractors and I can sense this moment where it feels good to come back every week, but they don't actually want to fix the problem. It's a temporary fix. And then I got to go back next week to feel good. And then that in and of itself becomes a pattern that I am now trapped in. And so a lot of what we're going to talk about on these live streams is this idea of regurgitating the same information and expecting something different to happen in our lives, but yet we do the same things over and over and over again. And in a way, going to therapy over and over and over again every single week creates another pattern in your brain that you need to keep going back in order to scratch an itch, as I will call it. Your brain is like, this is good. I feel really good about it. I want to go back, and maybe it does. It helps you in some way, but then you go home and you live the rest of your week. And you're like, I got to go back and keep scratching the itch. And it's really hard to progress if that is just becomes enjoyable in and of itself. So anyway, I don't know. The natural thing that I want to say from that is, if going to therapy becomes just a new pattern, it's new initially, it's novel initially because it's a new thing, and you're like, wow, this is great. But then you do it for 3 years straight, every week or every month or whatever it is. All of a sudden, are you progressing? Are you fixing the problem, or is it just a loop that you've become stuck on, and now you have to break that loop? You have to break another loop, which basically means it's just the same information on repeat, and our solution tends to be new information. That's the perfect
segue back to I'm not actually. It sounds like I'm smacking on therapy here, but I'm not. Right? Every single therapist I've had has been helpful, right, in some way, but only one said to me, the goal is for you not to come back here. Okay. So she was trying to create the loop breakage, right? Because she knows you can get into that cycle. And it's like, you have a cycle, you have a thought. That thought creates a feeling. That feeling creates more thinking. And all of a sudden you're in a cycle. Well, all therapy becomes, or can become, if not done well, becomes just a real life cycle, right? With a therapist. So there's two of the things that I noted here is one, I had an aspiring therapist basically asked me, Chad, one of my homework assignments, he's in grad school, one of my homework assignments is to sit for 30 minutes with somebody and listen to them. And I said, oh boy, all right, here we go. I said, I'll do it, but you got to know that this is going to come. And I was like, the biggest thing here is listening is super important, But being able to hear the thought pattern in a client to understand where the breakage, the loop breakage needs to be is the key. And there might be 16 thoughts. So you may end up working with a therapist for a long time, but you have to break patterns. And that's what a therapist, in my opinion, should be doing. Only one of which literally said to me, that's my goal, is to break your pattern.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead. Do you have a thought on? I have one last thing on somebody.
Go ahead.
So there's a psychologist, Dr. Ellen Langer, right? And she's fantastic. Harvard, like, dude, some of the greatest studies out there. I'm going to talk about her a lot because she's so smart. She's 80 something, but I saw her on stage a couple of weeks ago. She's 80 something, but literally is on stage talking like she's 52. It's insane. Why? Because of the way she thinks. But one of the things she found in one of her studies is that they took these two groups of people in a nursing home, okay? Took them in a nursing home and they split them out. And in one group, right, the experimental group, they said, you have the decision to choose when and who comes to visit you. And we're also going to give you this plant to take care of, okay? Now, on the control group, right, the nursing home assistants, they were the ones. They said, we're going to give you this plant, but the nursing home people are going to take care of, right, your plant. And they don't have as much freedom, right, to basically see who comes to visit them. And what they found out is that you give people agency over their life. You give people agency over their life, and things significantly change. So the result, the experimental group, right, they found significantly more vigorous, not just more vigorous. They actually wrote the word significantly. They're more sociable. They have proved health, and the group actually had lower mortality rate by a significant percentage over an 18-month time span. All because you gave somebody to take care of a plant. They broke the pattern of somebody has to take care of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And that's a thought loop because we all of a sudden we get to a certain age. We're like, oh, we have to have people take care of us.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot about agency is woven through all of the solution that we'll ever talk about. Yep. And agency is a weird word because it's really hard to grasp sometimes. Mm-hmm. Once you see it, then you all of a sudden know it.
Yeah.
It is that ability to create, the way you just described this plant. You have utility. You are the one creating the action. You are the one. It's coming from inside of you.
Yes.
Instead of hoping that something floats down out of the sky to fix your problems.
That's it.
By generating whether it's taking care of a plant or something that you're dealing with. Coming back to therapy, if the therapist encourages agency, Chad, you go write down this list, figure it out. Now you go do it. Don't hope that I fix your problem. Mm-hmm. It's all about figuring it out. Let's clarify it. Let's deal with it. And then using agency, you actually generate the solution.
Yeah. It comes back to what you said, though. It's about new information. You go to a therapist, you give them some information. Then you go every week and you keep talking about the same information. I'm expecting a therapist to insert new information, a new way for me to think, a new way for me to act so that I can break a pattern. And some are very good at that. But for me, I've had 6, only one. Mm-hmm. Right. And only one said, that's my job, is to break patterns and you never to come back. Anyway, so that's it's almost so how do people, what do people take away from all this? Right. I mean, go ahead.
It's funny because we have a list of these micro problems, and this one is, okay, well, if the problem is, what is the problem we are describing? It is, if your objective is to solve your issue in the real, not just go back on a loop forever. Mm-hmm. If that is the objective and they aren't interrupting your pattern, it's either see a new therapist if that's your objective, or you do it yourself. But what we're describing here is the idea is to not have to go to therapy to break through, right? Mm-hmm. The whole idea is a breakthrough, and you go to therapy because you're stuck on something. There's a plateau, there's some feeling that you want to get past. And if it's not helping you break through, then usually what we talk about is you need new information. We can't tell you what is the breakthrough, but you have to create more doors to open. You have to create more opportunities to find whatever that is. And so it's either a new therapist or changing something you do every day. Is my guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
Agreed?
I mean, so look, yeah, agreed. 100%
Disagree?
agreed. So I agree. I think then for us to wrap it up is like, okay, so what can somebody do today? Okay. Obviously, like I said, if you're doing therapy and it's great, keep it going. But just remember, the key is to not have to do therapy. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy is there to change something. So like in my, if we're going to say, what do we do today? What's the action item? Well, in my opinion, and then you could give yours, but obviously it's going to be similar. The first step to me is write out what you want changed.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Write out what you want changed. That first therapist literally goes, what do you want? What do you want to have differently? And she goes, write a paragraph. I went home, wrote a paragraph. It's like, oh shit. And then she's like, just go do it.
Yeah.
So just start by writing out what you want to change. That's it. That's it for my end.
I'd say we're going to come back a lot to this idea of awareness. Like oftentimes you are stuck on a loop because you aren't aware that you're stuck on the loop.
That's right.
Your brain is efficient. It's going to do it over and over.
Yep.
And by writing it down, you are generating that awareness to be like, well, what is it? Why am I going to therapy? Like, what is the reason I'm doing this? And once you write that down, all of a sudden you're aware and you're like, oh, are they meeting the goals that I'm going for? Right. And if not, then I have to make a change. And that could be a change in therapist, a type of therapy, or something in your actual life. But the summary is nothing new will happen unless you make something new happen. And it's always going to be
weird. It's right. It's like this cart before the horse thing. Nothing new will happen unless you start making something new happen. Yeah. And guess what? It starts with a simple thought. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So write it down.
And then acting on the thought. Yeah.
That's it.
All
right.
But it's interesting. We never brought up, this is called Breakthroughs by Supply Run. I don't know how to put a label on this. I'll go figure it out next time.
Yeah, I guess we're figuring it out.
But it used to be on there when we used a different platform. Anyway, this is our Supply Run channel if you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram. Because we realized when we did Supply Run and we're making the next iteration or the first official season of Supply Run, we're like, this is our modality to shortcut a lot of the problems we will talk about here. And so the way that this ties to Supply Run, it's interesting. It's everything we just talked about in the sense that if therapy is from a lot of people just talking and not changing information over and over, Supply Run is an intense 3 weeks of changing all the information. It's injecting newness and novelty so hard that all of those answers start to appear because you have interrupted the pattern so hard.
I mean, is the proverbial stick in the spoke.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can't get a harder stick in the spoke.
Right.
Like, you just can't. But you can't do Supply Run every day. Right. You know, we do it twice a year with people.
Which is why we're doing this live stream, because we're like, well, we can't do Supply Run 52 weeks out of the year. But like the solutions can be a daily solution, and that is really what we're attempting to do here, you know.
Yep, totally. So final question, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm going to give the final question, and then you give the wrap up, CTA's call to action for those who aren't marketers. The first question,
a little behind the scenes.
Yeah. So we're curious if you've seen some of this, if you watched it, how many of you have therapists, right? And we want to know, how are they helpful? How would you wish them to be potentially different? How would you want therapy to change? So that's like 3 questions in one. How many of you have therapists? How are they helpful? But how would you want that whole thing to change to help you better?
Yeah. And you can, that is, I don't even know where this happens. On YouTube, probably leave a comment. Facebook,
in a comment?
Instagram, leave a comment. I don't know. In a comment. But then to wrap it up, we'll probably always say something to the effect of, Chad and I are just talking right now. Chadwick, that's actually what you put your name in. I
decided today, yeah.
Chadwick and I are talking about an issue that we are thinking up because it's ourselves, right? Like we kind of brought this topic. We know a lot of people deal with it, but we brought this topic to the table. But we know a lot of people have different forms of breakthroughs they need. Maybe they don't know how to describe it quite right. Or they do know how to, and they just don't know what to do with it. So what we would love to hear from you is just DM us. We don't have a fancy way to do this yet. DM either one of us and on any platform and just say like, yeah, I've been struggling with X, Y, Z, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts or breaking it down, and we'll see what happens from there. Maybe you jump on, maybe you don't. We don't know. So that's the first thing. Send us a DM. And then what are the next two? I got to remember.
There's only one more thing.
It's in the description. I actually put 2 links. So one is if you're interested in what Supply Run is, we talked about it for maybe 30 seconds, but it'll come back. Go to our YouTube channel and you can watch the show or trailers. And then if you're interested in applying for Supply Run, which will probably become more apparent as we do more of these, supplyrunshow.com is where you can go do that.
Cool. Yeah. And then the next one is on what, Friday? 8:30 a.m. Pacific. And what's the topic next week or next Friday? On this Friday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific.
Perfectionism. So if you're somebody who struggles with perfectionism or not being able to do things because you need it to be perfect before you do it, that's the live stream for you. And that's
Jake's topic.
That is my topic because I struggle with that shit. So, but here we are. This is me, my own therapy, doing a live stream, not knowing at all how it will go.
Big gulps, huh?
Well, see you later.